So you want to travel for practically free. Today we're going to review Couchsurfing as a surfer on Joe Reviews. So right off the bat, I want to say I have been abroad for over 3 years. I've been to over 13 different countries, and I have used Couchsurfing about 6 times now. It's not a whole lot, but I could definitely have an opinion on it. So Couchsurfing is a service that connects members to a global community of other travelers, and they use Couchsurfing to find a place to stay or share their home or hometown with other travelers. You could also host or join events in places where you want to find something to do, like tours. So it works like this. The type of place where you are going or you already are shows a bunch of people, and it shows some people if they're available or maybe available to host or unavailable. They show a percentage of the response rate, and they have a rating, and some are verified and some have reviews depending on their experience. Then you can just read their profile, request their days, how many days you want to stay, and if they want to host you, they write to you back. You organize it usually through WhatsApp, and happy days. Very straightforward. And I really enjoy using it. So let's go over some of the pros. It's free. Yep, it's free. If you want to get verified, you could pay a lifetime fee of $60. Or if you host a certain amount of people, you get verified just for free. And it's not mandatory, it just helps your credibility. So you get connected with the locals right off the bat. That's a huge, that's a huge win. I mean, you are in another country. What do you want to hang out with? A bunch of Americans the whole time? They're not always locals though, the people that you meet. They usually are. And sometimes they will show you around. They will feed you to their traditional food, lend you bikes if they have, give you the keys so you're not stuck. And just to get to know their life story, just get to know the place. But it's also good to give back. Sometimes if they have a kitchen, I will cook. I will do the dishes sometimes and, go out for a drink. Another pro is it makes traveling alone not so lonely. You already have a friend right off the bat. And if you join or create an event, you can do tours, go out for drinks with other travelers or locals and just socialize. You don't have to also couch surf alone. Some hosts only have enough room for one person, but I've done it once with another friend I was traveling with, and the only reason we actually used Couchsurfing was because everything was booked, and it was a great time. So let's go over some of the cons of Couchsurfing. So sometimes the people using Couchsurfing like to use it like Tinder. Girls host boys, and boys host only girls. And that's a problem. And I heard it from other surfers, and I feel it too when I'm requesting, because I have to send a lot of messages just to get one back, because they're always just looking for the opposite sex or if they're pretty or not. And I'm not there to hook up. I'm there for a free place and get to know the city, get to know the locals, and that's what I do. And also remember, it's strictly not a place to stay for free. You must try to connect with the person you're hosting. So you take the time, get to know them, If you strictly want a place to sleep, then go book a hostel or a hotel. And then also, it's not quite a con, but sometimes the host is working, especially on the weekdays. So they don't have as much time to show you around. So you still have to be an independent person and do things even if there's no one to go with. Sometimes also the ambience of the hostel life is missed. There are 2 different completely means of accommodation. I like drinking and partying when the time is right, and good old party hostel with other travelers, and then all of a sudden you're in a hostel and you go with those new friends on new adventures. And that's a little con of Couchsurfing, because as a couch surfer, you're the traveler going into the life of a local's day-to-day routine. So Couchsurfing is pretty awesome. I know people that literally live off this, like my friend Elena, which runs a blog, The Backpacker's Way. She lives off $60 a month, which is insane. I'm more of a comfortable backpacker. I like to spend no more than $1,000 a month. Hostels personally are my favorite, but every once in a while, I like to get to know the locals more and the place as well. And sometimes the place is just too expensive, so I use Couchsurfing. And the more I use it, the more I enjoy it. So just remember, it's not Tinder, and still be careful and just use common sense when traveling. There's no wrong way of traveling, so just enjoy. So subscribe, like, comment, and follow me on Instagram if you enjoy this review. So, Couchsurfing. Got my thumbs up. I love it. Take your opinion.